Okay, cool. I'm try to finish that thought before I forget it. Because PTSD is important, and I think anyone out there that's searching, is dealing with it on some degree, and I really believe that now after having gone through it and figured it out, you know. And I know, like up to this point, yeah, a lot of my videos have been mostly about like the experience and how it's been having an impact on me. And now today, like if it's felt way more towards about reaching out to people and helping them realize that, because what happens is these individual traumatic things that happen in our lives as we go through it build up over time, build up because they lead to just one thing after another until eventually, boom, you stop living, you stop feeling like you did, and you enter this period of kind of observation where all you really think about is this period of time before, when life was this or life was that, or you think about the regrets, but sometimes you think about the good times too. Like that's what you think about. You're not thinking about when you think about where you're at. You have all these reasons why you don't like it, and you're stressed out, and why it's so much worse of a place. And you're definitely not thinking about where you're going, right? Because you would be planning and making moves to make that happen. We all know that's how life works when in that respect. So that's what happens with PTSD. It happens to all of us. So many people, you know, because it starts way back somewhere, and it's just like basically like a chess game that moves you through life. And because each time one of these events can make you scared. One of these events can make you fearful of a situation, of people, and lose trust. All these different things. So, and then when that last big one happens, and it snaps, and you're into that period of just observation, is what it felt like to me. And the people, that's when starts getting labeled as depression and all those different things. And it is. I mean, think about what depression stands for. It's exactly what it is. The opposite of it, all of it, is connection. You know, so that's what you've got to come to terms with, is whatever it is that's got you so not living. You've got to come to terms with it. Not think about it. Don't confuse the two. Just thinking about all the trauma and the pain is not feeling it. Not coming to terms with it. It's different. It's a different thing. Um, so you got to reach a point where like that's what you want to do. You want to live. And then go. You gotta get on. You gotta get going. You know, and that's the awakening part, is when the way it works is the difference between nothing ever comes from thinking about it. Think about it. Nothing ever comes. I mean, there's one, you know, silly little analogy or another about that. Thinking, what does that ever do? It doesn't. So when why it's different to come to terms with it is because when you get to come to terms with it, it releases. It leaves you. You no longer feel the pain. It's gone. Whatever that was, it's just gone. You know, and that's the difference. So, and people label that a whole bunch of things too. An awakening, and that spooks people and scares them and freaks them out. Because, I don't know, man. It's a weird word. So I don't know. It's a word. How would you describe it? Because coming to terms with trauma of any kind, and by coming to terms, I mean feeling it, like we're talking about, and releasing it. Like people don't get it. Just don't get it. I'm sorry, I kind of lost my thought there. I think you know what I mean. I'm just trying to point out that there's a difference in sitting around thinking about all of it versus releasing it. And that's what the awakening is, realizing that. And it's easier to do nowadays than ever before in the history of mankind. Because people also don't, you forget, look, our brain does nothing but absorb electronic signals. It can't see, hear, taste. It's not a dark box up there. You know? It's just like enclosed. So it interprets electronic signals. That's why that's why illusions work. That's why a lot of mediums that prey on people, that's why that works. Because your brain can, be tricked to see what it wants to see and hear what it wants to hear. You know? That's how our brain works. So there's other ways to feed our brain information, and especially electronically and digitally, and because that all requires electricity and waves and right. Well, what do we sit in front of most of our time? Facebook, Instagram. So there's electronic signals going all over the place. You just got to learn how to pick up on them, how to read them. It's no different than you can learn to read someone better. Better, honestly. Because it's much more difficult to be fake in a picture or a video. That's why acting is an art. Like, people don't get that. Like, acting is an art. It's not someone pretending to be someone they're not. No. It's an art. Right? To be able to go on camera and absorb and, come out as a character and act and make him believable. And, man, that ain't just somebody up there pretending to be somebody they're not. No one of us does that. You ever watch yourself on a video, like your family birthday party or something? Or like even one of like your kids' birthday parties with all their friends and crap, and you watch it back because you remember looking cool or thought you was gonna look cool. Like you were having a great time. You watch that tape back, and you're like, "What the hell's going on?" Yeah, because it's weird being on tape and stuff, right? There's a reason for all that. So, point is, you have access now to something so real that allows you to connect to so many areas of your life. Think about it. You could reconnect with a childhood friend from kindergarten nowadays if you really wanted to. That long lost friend that you wonder what happened to him. Think about how easy it is to find him now. Right? Or what about the one that got away? Or the one, It doesn't mean that you have to pick those relationships back up where they left off. Right? People move on. I mean, we all know that now, like we're a little older, like life happens. So it doesn't mean you have to re-enter there, but just by reconnecting, it can lead you to a whole new part of your life. Just by making those reconnections with people. And being willing to just like put yourself out there a little bit. That's all you gotta do. Just put yourself out there a little bit, Yeah, you'll scare some people off. You'll shed some people. You'll confuse some people. Most people won't care. Most people will not care. Or remember, right? Most people will not. So even if, like in your mind, if you reach out in a way that's a little outside of your personality or out of character for you, in your mind, you think everyone is going, "Oh my God," and they might be for a second, but they move one line down and start that drop. They do the same thing you do. So don't worry about all that stuff. Just start connecting with people. You can connect over hobbies and interests and all kinds of stuff now. All kinds of stuff. So if you're trying to figure out how to kickstart an awakening, you got to figure that out. And to do that, you got to release. You know, you got to let that trauma go. That's not allowing you, because these are not things that someone has to tell you. These are things that will come to you naturally. You will start to want to make these connections and things, and da da da. You know, that's what the way it works. It's just not like a written rule book or nothing. Like when it happens for you, it'll happen for you, and it will be its own and its unique way, and you'll just start to see it. You know, so don't get caught up in, you know, trying to find some how-to book and some, just you got to figure out, get in touch, because there was a moment. There's a moment when you finally, you feel like, you know, or at least a point in time where everything kind of stopped. And that was just like the final thing that kind of broke it, right? But that was the first big major thing that was somewhere back there. And you might have to get in touch with that one, that original one, to be able to release it. Some people only have to go 1 or 2 or 3 back, and they're able to release it. You know, that's how it works. Others, you might have to go back to the very first one. Depends on how traumatic that first one was. That's it. You know, if that first major one at say 15 was major, 15, 16, you know, that early, and it was major, you're gonna have to go back to that one. You know, because some of that major at that young of an age has led to some pretty big major choices in your life as after you move forward from it. So I can almost promise you you'll have to face that one. But anyway, I could ramble on. I just wanted to put that out because it was reminding today that it is Memorial Day, you know. And I know Memorial Day is for the guys that don't make it home. And but it still made me think of Veterans Day and this project, and why I originally started it, and so on. And it reminded me of, you know, veterans and PTSD, how because it is highlighted within that community, and it gets a lot of interest, and you know, the VA is very good at the help they offer. But PTSD is a little bigger than that. It's not a veteran thing. No, it's a housewife thing. It's a farmer thing. It's a truck driver thing. Cop thing. You know, fireman thing. Single mom thing. I mean, it's all of us. It's all of us. It's the whole point. You're not alone. It's the whole point. Anyway, thanks for the support. Bye.